Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original walk-ons, Burbank at Nicholson. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Beautiful day here in Baton Rouge. Were you up way past the game last night? There's a lot of people I talked to was too adrenalized to go to sleep after LSU's stunning come from behind 6-5 win against Arkansas at Charles Schwab Field last night. A game that was dominated by the pitchers in the first 5+ innings and dominated by some big hits and some costly miscues, some errors and some just miscues in the last couple innings of the game. It's Arkansas score 4 in the 8th and 9th, and LSU score 3 in the bottom of the 9th to win this thing. Jimmy, how you doing?
Great, man. There's a gazillion things to go through, and so, but the first thing is kind of listening to like Mad Dog yesterday. Mad Dog, they're like call them little sports bites. They were giving Omaha updates. Mm-hmm. Mad Dog was kind of like watching Omaha. Some of the VEASAN stuff, pretty much all the VEASAN stuff, they were glued last night, this morning, recapping. And I just had to say, well, these people are talking NBA Finals, NHL Stanley Cup Finals. They're off. And so you had a few more people watching you than normal. Doesn't hurt. What's the number one TV that everybody has up in the restaurant or the bar? ESPN. I know we're here whenever,
sure. Of
course, okay, but I'm talking about college baseball, and you have this bizarre game, the 4 lead changes in the 8th inning on. I mean, your typical mental error, physical error, game-winning hit off the glove. Just your standard.
Yeah.
With something on the line, with two fan bases that care a lot, and college baseball grew a little bit last night. It reached more people than usual. And so we're my friends in VEASAN that went all the way, Derek Stevens took, I think it was 3 shows to him. I was on with Mitch and Paulie yesterday, and they were just blown away with just the energy, the celebratory, just getting after it, just having, just caring about the sport that just kind of, it's a niche sport, but it's never going to be, it's just hard for people in Michigan and other places geographically. But college baseball on the big stage, when it didn't have a whole lot of competition, even I'm going to Wrigley last night for the game, Charlie. Well, guess what? We rained out. I'm not going home. I'm going into the Cubby Bear or Murphy's and watching the College World Series. The sport got a little bit more exposure, reach, and it grew a little bit last night because these are the type of games where say what you want, blame, luck, blew it, whatever. It's memorable.
It had a little bit of everything in it. The 2 pitchers that were the starters in last night's game both had season highs. Baldacci's for Arkansas. He had gone longer, but he had never struck out 9 guys in a game last night. Zach Cowan, his longest outing of the year for LSU. The last time he went out to start in the Super Regional, it didn't go well. He didn't get past the 2nd inning. But last night, given up 1 run in 5 1/3 innings, the 1 home run was really the only mistake he made. LSU did not walk a batter. None of the 4 pitchers walked a batter in last night's game. Some really nifty defense early from the very beginning. When Arkansas puts that ball deep in the hole and Milam slides down, pops up, and makes the long throw. Braswell made it really was. And then Braswell made a terrific play to end the inning on what was a really tricky hop, and he had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. That's just to get LSU out of the first. And then Curiel with a double off the glove of the first baseman. But LSU can't do anything with that because Baldacci's really settled in there. You had another situation in the second. Arkansas had 2 on and 2 out. Another play in the hole where Milam makes a nifty little play. And then in the LSU second, they have an opportunity. Dave Van Horn decides to walk Dickinson to get to Braswell with first and second and 2 out. They get Braswell to strike out there. Third inning, you get a screamer that is down the line that is caught by Jared Jones. Would it have gone foul if it doesn't get caught by the big 6'5" first baseman? Maybe it clips the line. I don't know for a double. You get into the 6th inning. Arkansas's got a runner at third base with 2 outs, and what at that point is a 1-0 game. And Jaden Newt, who really came on in the second half of the season. Again, that time past the Tommy John surgery. This kid Newt was a top prospect out of California 3 seasons ago. He comes in and he gets Koziel to strike out with a runner at third base and 2 out. I mean, Koziel's hitting .330. He's one of their biggest guys. Then you get to the points in the game where everybody is going to remember. You get into the 6th. Ethan Fry leads off with a double. Milam's hit by a pitch. Gackle, who was coming back, he was terrific against LSU on Saturday. He went 6 innings in that game. They said after the game, I listened to Dave Van Horn's entire post game. God bless. He said we thought we had about 40 to 50 pitches out of him. Well, at that point, he gets a big strikeout, and then they walk Pearson to get to Stanfield, and they feel like they've got the matchup there. Jay Johnson counters. He comes in and he brings in Jake Brown, who has been just crushing right-handed pitching. But that means he's got to take Stanfield out of center field. It means he's got to put Curiel out in center field, who's played very little out there. So he's got to reshuffle his entire outfield. But the move worked because Brown tagged him for a double, and LSU took their first run of the game. You get into the LSU second. You get 7th. You get Dickinson with the big chopper over third base, the Baltimore chop over third base. But Gackle settled in, and he didn't allow anything else. And in the 8th inning, where everything really starts to go crazy, Arkansas with a couple of singles to open the inning. 1 out hit by pitch loaded the bases, and Shores has got a pitch to Helfrich, who has already homered. They get a high chopper to third, and Braswell. I know everybody's frustrated with him at the plate, but this is why he is in the game. He gets the ball on the high chop. He delivers to second. Dickinson, the relay throw over to first base, and Jones dropped it, and 2 runs end up scoring. They rule an error on Jones. I thought it was.
Oh, it's in the dirt, huh?
No, he hit it in his glove.
I
didn't think it was an easy play, but they. So the 2 runs come home on that, and you feel like, man, you had a chance to get out of it, but Arkansas takes a 2-run, the 3-2 lead into the 8th, and then the first 2 guys are retired. Gackle is still out there, and here comes Jones. Okay, he's just made an error. He just let the ball get by him to give Arkansas the lead. He was 0 for 5 in Saturday's game. 3 of those with 5 strikeouts. 3 of those strikeouts were against Gackle. Gackle had faced Jones earlier in this game and struck him out. 2 on, nobody out. Jones has struck out the last 4 times he's faced this guy, and he hit the ball over the fence. I mean, you gotta love baseball.
He hit it where it needed to be hit last night. As much as it was blowing in from where he hit it against UCLA and barely got it out, he got it in the right spot this time. So that's enjoy it while you can, because that little wind blowing out last night's gone.
No, it'll be in the rest of the things. So you go to the 9th. You go to the 9th tied at 3, and Arkansas comes out in the ninth, single, double. And with one out, they bring in Jacob Myers to pitch. And I thought this is the only decision I kind of disagreed with on a night where LSU was pretty much perfect on the bench, I thought. Myers, who throws 100 miles an hour, big strikeout guy, big walk guy. First base is open, second and third with one out. 9-hole hitter up. They threw him a breaking ball. Myers makes his living off his fastball. I understood why they brought him in. Shores was laboring a little bit at that point. This is your best chance to get 2 strikeouts. We got to ask both of us: Would you have walked him? I'm not walking a 9-hole hitter. So to load the bases for the top of the order, absolutely
don't help him
not.
out, throwing him off speed.
No. So they threw him an off-speed pitch, and he gets a hit. Other than that, I thought the bench was pretty much perfect last night. So of course, he gets a two-run single, and Arkansas is leading it 5-3. And then Myers got out of it the rest of the way. Pinch hit it open the ninth for LSU. John Pearson, he strikes out against Gibbler, who's also a phenomenal arm out there. And then Curiel puts a ball in play to the right side. And you tell me, Robinette, the first baseman, made a play on it. I certainly understand him making a play on it. If he lets it go, do I think Koziel at second base has got an easier play? I do, but I understand Robinette. He's trying to make a play on the ball. So Curiel is going to beat the pitcher to first. The ball is thrown behind, so he goes to second base at that point. And then you get a walk on a 3-1 pitch to Ethan Fry, who's done a pretty good job of that. He's walked 5 times in the last 2 games. And then here comes Milam, and this is the play that began the unraveling. I guess the error led to the second play. But Stephen Milam grounds a ball to Wahia Aloy at short. This is a double play ball all day and all night. And Aloy, for some reason, went to third. Maybe he throws the ball away, I guess, but this is a double play ball. If this ball is hit to him in March, April, May, in Fayetteville or any other SEC park, he's going to second, and they're almost certainly going to turn 2. The ball was hit sharply. Milam wasn't even out of the box when the ball got to him, hardly. They have practiced this play thousands of times in Aloy's life. He's turned that 6-4-3 double play hundreds of times. I don't know how many plays this year that you throw to third. There are situations where, if it's a tie ball game, maybe you throw to, you go to third, but that play is a double play ball 100 times out of 100 in this situation. And he went to third, and he got the lead out, and that gave Hernandez a chance.
It's one or two things. He's a really poor baseball IQ player.
Which we don't think he is.
Yeah. And or the pressure got to him. But
that's what I think.
When you're teaching kids in, pre-pitch, okay, you try and get them, all right, or you see the pitchers in a stretch, he's about to get going. Okay, get your balance, get ready. But part of pre-pitching, what you're doing when you're coaching kids, too, is in baseball, because there's so much dead time, you're trying to keep them interested, keep them moving. You have to do something on every play. There's even I'm watching last night, pitcher gave up the hit and he's trying to see. He's sitting on the mound. What are you doing on the mound?
Yeah, you're
not doing anything. Go back up home or third. Just get off the mound. So the part of the pre-pitch is balls hit to me, what do I do? And the only thing and then it's 2-run games the last inning.
Yeah.
There's no excuse when it's the last at bat.
No.
In the 7th inning, whatever. I might be able to, but you are focused on the tie and run at first. That is it. You are not concerned. For some reason, the runner at second was on his mind. That's poor IQ. I can't give him a pass there because his pre-pitch, if he's worried about, he's not throwing to third if he's not worried about if he's completely 100% focused, as he should, situationally, on this is like when you do U10 and U12, the coach is screaming, hey, that's the guy. This is the guy. Focus on him. That's the tie and run. You're reminding your kids. You don't have to remind the SEC Player of the Year. All right? And he gets the SEC Player of the Year. When they show him his credentials, they're not showing his fielding percentage. Okay, they're showing his hitting statistics. But it's pressure. It's pressure, and just there are physical errors all the time, but the mental errors from your best player. And listen, you start when you're setting up your field, okay, and you're fielding, you start with your catcher. Okay, very few can catch. All right, there's no positions out there and go, oh yeah, I'm going to catcher. Not a whole lot. And then you go to shortstop. That's like UCLA has 4 high school shortstops playing in the infield because they were strongest in their high school team.
Yeah,
he is their strongest fielder, and he does that. And if you watch the replay, Milan doesn't get out super quick.
No,
he was out. He was going to. It was a double play.
The second baseman would have had to throw the ball away for them not to make a double play at that point. That's the only way.
Yeah.
So they're going to get it. It opened up the door for Hernandez to line to left field. And here LSU, catches a break. Charles Davelin, who is their leadoff hitter, who is a fantastic player, gets a bad read, and then he slips. And as he's going in to catch the ball and slips, Dave Van Horn said that, he lost sight of it, and it caroms off of his shoulder, and it goes into the corner, and the 2 runs score. I felt for Davelin. He was beside himself after the game.
He's a good player.
Yes,
he's a good fielder.
Fantastic player. And I don't wish that on anybody. I'm sorry. Even, LSU's opponents. That's a play. It's a difficult play because the ball is hit very hard. But it's a play he makes most of the time. And then you give Jones another opportunity at it. I would have walked him with first base open.
Yes, absolutely.
I understand that you're going to you got Jimenez in the game, so you Pearson's coming up, so you're going to have to go righty lefty. But I'm sorry, Jones since that opening game is 5 for 9. And you set up a force at second base on a ball that is hit up the middle. I'm not going to let Jones beat me. If Pearson beats me, I tip my cap.
At minimum, you just the unintentional. You're not giving him something in the zone,
and that's I think what they were trying to do. And you run the risk of making a mistake, and you left it up, and it goes out second baseman's glove, and LSU wins it by a score of 6-5.
It's hopping over here at the original walk-ons, and yes, how are we going to do? How are we going to celebrate? I was here last 2 years ago for the clinching game. It's fun, man. Next best place to be in at the Schwab, the Chuck, whatever they call it. Hey. Is over here at Walk-On. So, man, lively to say the least. And let's get in the spirit of things. $3 Jell-O shots over here at Walk-Ons for all
$2 discount if you
during all. That's right. 40% off Jell-O shots over here at Walk-Ons. $3 Jell-O shots during all of the LSU games for Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday. So it's going to be popping over here, man. A lot of, somebody just kind of stay home, man. You want a little bit of the atmosphere. People cursing when this doesn't go right. People going crazy when this goes right. Well, you've seen some of the videos circulating by some of the bars, including over here at Walk-Ons. Hey, man, kind of fun. And we get into it a little bit over here for college baseball. So $3 shots for the LSU games for the championship series.
Live at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And today's show brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your one-stop shop for all of your financial needs, especially for retirement, though, as they have done for us. No matter what your age is, no matter what your income level is, you can begin planning for retirement. Let them put you on the right track. It's what they've done for us and our family, so you can feel secure about your future. Coastal Capital Advisors wants to establish that relationship for a lifetime, and that's certainly what they've done with us. CoastalCapitalADV.com is the website. Talk to Phil Fontenot and his great staff down at Coastal Capital, member FINRA SIPC.
Charlie, I got to laugh, and you break it down, and of course you got historical perspective. I guess we both do. We're going to be going to Omaha so many years and things like that, and we talk about how these clutch plays, breaks or whatever, but you're like, you're kind of doing it because it's three at bats in a row. It completely flipped this game. Mental error, ball off the shoulder, game-winning hit off the glove. I mean, what's that old saying? You go to a baseball game, you go see something you never have. Well, this one that applies because I ain't never. Let me know when that happens again. Okay,
No, that's
but I love how you
sequencing.
break it down. Oh, and LSU caught a break. like that's not the lack of enthusiasm that I think the Arkansas people are reliving that low. We just gave them a break. No, they're sick. They're sick, and we talk. It's kind of one of those point counterpoints a lot. Did LSU win it or did Arkansas lose it? LSU's won a lot of close ones in clutch. Arkansas lost this one. It was on their glove. It was on their head. It was decision. Decisions like that was. Now listen, I think they come in with Anderson today if Arkansas holds, and I think Anderson will win. But brother, this will probably. How do you say probably? I don't get. This was a big step in increasing LSU's chance to win it all. Because make no mistake, that team they playing is good. But to save Anderson, I mean, you and I both agree on this. One game, he's my guy. You can have any pitcher in a field of 64 or any pitcher anywhere in college baseball this year, I'm going with Anderson.
So listen to Jay Johnson both in the post game and this morning on OTB, and that's available on demand if you want to go listen to it. If they go to the 10th, Ionson's coming in the game. Okay. He said that, okay? And then he said later that he was going to chop up the game tomorrow, meaning today, that Anderson would have started and Ionson would have been his first guy out. You can imagine how LSU is even if they win the game today, okay, if they'd have had to use Ionson last night and Anderson and Ionson today, you can imagine how compromised they would have been going into the weekend, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, now – for the first time, really, since 2000, you're set up.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking about that, too, because, the first one where you score the 2, okay, now this thing might go 16 innings.
Yeah.
And you're playing to win.
And even if it goes 12 or 13, once you get Ionson to 50 pitches.
Yeah, he's spent. He's
done.
Done.
That's it. So you got 2-3 innings maybe.
No, it's massive break.
It's a huge, huge break. And for the first time, I think, really, since 2000, LSU's pitching is set up going into the finals. In 2009, they were in great shape, but they had to bring Ronaldo back on 4 days, to pitch the third game. If they had lost that first game to Texas, and remember, if LeMahieu doesn't get that hit in the ninth inning, LSU loses that game, they would have had to bring Ronaldo back on 3 days rest. So you got Anderson on full rest. You will have Ionson not only on full rest, but you'll have him on 5 days after he only threw 44 pitches. You'll have Evans back for a potential game 3, and you will have everybody available to you on Saturday, save maybe Cowan, who's not scheduled anyway. No, you are as set up as you can get for the championship. So it's Coastal Carolina. It's going to be best on best. That's the way we want it.
It's a great match. David versus Goliath, if you will. But this Coastal,
except David hadn't lost a game in 2 months.
Yeah. These are two stud teams, man, right now. And then LSU's very talented, but playing better. Playing better at the right time.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it.
No, they are.
And how many times in all these memories that we have at LSU baseball? Yep, LSU did it because they had the stronger glove. They were stronger in the field.
Ooh, not very.
Let me know, brother.
There's a Ray Wright catch that comes to mind, but not usually.
Let me know, please.
That's not it.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings. 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service, which you get with our great team. Ashley Bonham Donald, Mariana Broussard Hayes, Adrian Reese Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie, and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Mr. Odd? How we doing in fabulous Baton Rouge?
Did you doing good? Did you work last night?
No. Actually, I had to change my off days. I switched it up a little because we have some PTO. And some of my supervisors took vacation. Go ahead.
I was interested because no Stanley Cup Finals, no NBA Finals game. You had Major League Baseball, but I was wondering if the college baseball, the LSU game, got a little extra exposure, attention last night, especially with the Wild ending.
Oh yeah, definitely. College baseball, when you get to the World Series, we definitely get some good handle, and when you have a suspect card. Other than the Dodgers and maybe the Padres, that was a big handle game. You really don't have much. And yes, we do fire it up on the video wall. Plus, we have the you have the World Cup club going on as well, which is we feature as well. So we got a lot of sports going on, but the college baseball's right up there. I mean, LSU, what a team! I mean, it keeps you guys alive. I love that, and definitely a focal point in Baton Rouge, without a doubt. And when this team is firing on all cylinders, they're tough to beat. You can see that.
It's kind of like that black cat with the Mets or whatever. Charlie's breaking it down, and Charlie does a great job of breaking it down. And he said, LSU caught a break. Just your typical mental error, ball off the shoulder, and game-winning hit off the glove. Three consecutive at bats. LSU caught a break. Yeah. The people,
the subtlety.
The Yankees did that too last night. They started making wild errors, and Volpe couldn't get the ball to second, and the Dodgers did the same. I mean, Muncy, they let San Diego tie the game because Muncy made a great play. I mean, he threw it to Edman, and Edman just dropped the ball. So it happens at the major league level too. And we're talking Yankees and Dodgers, let alone you guys. But you catch some breaks. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes they don't.
Dodgers have won the last 5 out of 6 against San Diego, and the one that they lost, it was basically they were throwing Kike Hernandez for 2 innings and 2/3. Okay, I mean they left that guy Sauer out. I mean he was just getting pounded. That's the only game that San Diego has won in the last 6, and they've played over. I think was about over a 2-week span. Home and away at Petco and at Chavez Ravine. The Yankees, though, are an interesting story because, they got off or whatever with what they call the torpedo bats and things like that. Right. But they are in a hitting funk, and they are a big price. I mean, massive price. And the Angels are just going in there and cashing tickets. Another big price. And now they got Rodon throwing today, but still, I mean, another big price for the Yankees against Anaheim.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're making a fortune if you're betting against the Yankees and the Mets in the last week and a half. I mean, they just turned it around. They were going so well. And the Yankees definitely have Stanton back, so that's definitely a focal point. You have to get some runs. But they're having massive trouble, as are the Mets, scoring runs. And the Mets, it just started with that Tampa Bay series. And the Yankees, like you said, they've come back down to earth. And you're seeing a real big price today. I mean, we're at $270 at the Rampart in South Point. I'm seeing $290s around town as well. So, it's unbelievable. 3-1 and losing games left and right. And to touch upon, like you said, the Dodgers have opened up a 4.5 game lead and a 6.5 on, the Padres and Giants respectively. So, every team goes in different directions and there's peaks and valleys. Credit to you guys. You guys touched me on the Cubs, and the Cubs have been very consistent as compared to these two Yankees and Mets teams. So, it works both ways, but these big numbers, you can make a fortune if you just watch and bet on the trends, and the Yankees and Mets are going in the wrong direction right now. But at least the Mets are an underdog, like you said. The Yankees are at 270 tonight. I mean, Rodon is good, but is he that good? He doesn't hit.
Your Dodgers, they're doing okay. I mean, they still don't have the winning percentage that the Cubs do. They're looking up in the standings at the Cubbies, but
by 1 percentage point. Yeah.
No, 3, 616 to 613. But anyway, I mean,
we got a lot more of a sample size than the last time we did this.
I mean, you guys are crazy. 14 pitches on the DL, and you're trying to compare. I mean, we got Kershaw, Kiki Hernandez out there. We got guys I never even heard of.
There's only one Cubs fan over here, Colucci.
Yeah, I know. The Dodgers, a little engine that could. They just bought the Lakers yesterday. So I mean,
this bargain basement price of $10 billion.
Yes.
Well, that's what that Dodger money makes for you. You just take it, you roll it over, and you buy the Lakers. And Chidi's happy, and the ownership is happy of the Dodgers. So, it works out very well for, all parties involved when you have the Dodger revenue, which, Chavez Ravine, I can remember back when I was a kid, it was always a sellout. They always lead the league in attendance. And it's because of affordability, guys. You have to understand that. The Dodgers make it very comfortable and affordable for a family, whereas Yankee Stadium, the ticket prices are exorbitant, and sometimes they're not even putting out a winning product. So at least the Dodgers, people floor them, but they spend the money, guys. They want to win, so it makes the profit margin a little less. But when the World Series championships start rolling in, it's a good thing.
Well, they flip the script. I mean,
right.
With little Steinbrenner doesn't spend it like his dad, but I mean the Dodgers are they're just taking the role of the former Yankees. I mean, the Yankees used to do this. The Yankees used to outbid everybody. So I mean, now they're just looking for a bargain base. Now we can't re-sign Soto. We're going to try and stretch it out a little bit, bring in free. No, that's just not what they've done. And I'll say this. So because they had such a loaded deck and all the advantages, the Yankee, kind of a Yankee hater, okay? And that's fine.
Right.
You kind of grow up Notre Dame hater, Yankee hater, but something about Ohtani, how do you not like that guy? I mean, Charlie, he's hard to hate, huh? He's hard to pull against, huh?
Yeah, and
he plays when he can. He runs out balls. He pitches if he has. If he can't. How do you hate that guy?
It's very difficult to hate him, and I think it's also difficult for players to establish a relationship with the fans when they don't speak the language and they go through an interpreter. It's harder to get a feel for them.
Right.
It's not impossible. It just makes it's another layer. It makes it more difficult for the fans to relate to him. But when you got a superstar like that, then it comes very naturally. For him, he's one of one.
Coach, college baseball is the buzz around here. Do you guys have the line set up for the series and for the first game on Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm off again today. I'm out of office, but
okay.
I saw all that come across my wire, and I have access to everything. But yes, we do. We have everything set up and offered at the Rampart and the South Point, and it's just going to be a really, really exciting World Series as we set it up, and definitely, it's going to be where we generate handle, because I don't think the NBA is going much past. Tonight, I think this will be the final game, in my opinion. But it's going to be great. We currently have LSU at -160, and the total is at 8.5 in that first game. So,
160?
Definitely.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 160. And I'm seeing a high, some offshore places, 175. But, competition, 166. We got a bargain price, actually, as I look. And,
right, down the street at our local book, a DraftKings outlet, they got 190.
Yeah, well, that's how it is. That's like the Vegas Golden Knight effect, only LSU. You have
No, this is a DraftKings line. This is a national line.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's how we book it. We're going to give you a fair price, and I'm very surprised. That's a big line. Maybe you get a little buyback, because, I'm seeing DraftKings at 166.
But I'm sorry, 190 for the series. 190 for the series. For game one, it's 166. 166.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, the prices vary. And definitely, if you have a brick-and-mortar shop in your neck of the woods, it's going to be much higher, similar to, like I was saying, with the Vegas Golden Knights. You could find on the East Coast where the Knights are 20, 30 cent difference than what they are here. And that's how bookmakers thrive. You have to market to your crowd and understand what action you're going to take. It's not just a giveaway business. We have to make a fair line to where it's fair for the bookmaker as well as for the consumer. But this is going to be a great series. What are your guys' thoughts?
Charlie, LSU was a dog in both games against Arkansas.
Yeah, and I liked LSU in the game on Saturday. For sure,
Anderson,
with Anderson going.
Yeah.
I thought last night's game was a straight flip of the coin. I didn't know if either one of those
Arkansas
pitchers
would win last night.
Yeah, I didn't know if either of those starting pitchers was going to get deep. Let me ask you, what do you think the difference is between Jacob Morrison, who is Coastal's ace, who is an ERA at 2.08, and Cameron Flukie, who has been pitching up at the top of these games because they've had some staggered starts, 3.29 ERA, and they've got roughly the same amount of innings because they could start either one of those guys. Flukie started last Friday. They could start him in Game 1 on Saturday. Morrison pitched on Sunday.
Better.
No, I know he is, but
yeah.
we don't know which one's going to pitch. Are they going to pitch Morrison on 5 days rest, or are they going to hold him for one more day? Because they could hold him for Sunday.
They could, but the only reason they wouldn't, because he's only got one start, and he's going to start.
That's right.
He's not coming in relief.
That's right.
He's going to start, and it would be where we've seen in college baseball. He starts a Saturday game. He might come pitching an inning or two on Monday night. Yeah. And I mean, it's just. That's the way it is. If they're doing it, with games down the line, they're going to do it on the last game of the season.
So you don't think he's going to start Saturday?
What's that, Dwayne?
Didn't this team win like 25 in a row or something?
26 in a row, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Current streak.
26 in a row. They have the number one RPI in the country, which is very difficult to do for a smaller conference team.
Right.
You know, LSU's they're both completely rested their pitching. But these are. Right. You know, it's a small conference and the biggest brand in college baseball, but both of these teams are really. This is a highly competitive series. This is David and Goliath strictly just by like history and budget and some things like that.
Name brand.
You know, the Coastal is legit. Coastal is legit. And for instance, their common opponent, LSU went to Auburn, got swept. Coastal went to Auburn and beat them twice. The only time that Auburn lost two in a row at home all year. LSU is playing better. LSU probably has more highly draftable guys on their team. So might be a little bit, one team's a little bit more talented than the other. Other team might just be a little bit better team over the course of this whole season than the other. But there's a lot of respect for Coastal Carolina around here. I can promise you that.
Yes, definitely. I think this will be a well-bet series as well, you know, and definitely game by game. Starts in 2 days, so we'll be watching the market, and definitely I'll give you guys some updates if we see any, wild bets or any large transactions.
Hey, who are they betting in tonight's Game 6 in the NBA Finals?
Well, so far it's been, we opened it kind of lackadaisical at a 4.5, and it's already up to 6.5, and now we're hovering at 6. So we got a little buyback at the 6.5. Most of the places around town have 6.5, or they have a 6 and a pumped up big. This is a tough game to handicap because you don't know how hurt Halliburton is, basically, how that calf is going to react. And if the kid only ends up playing 10 minutes, that becomes a huge liability. But Indiana's very, capable. They have other options, but it would be nice to have a healthy Tyrese out there and definitely helping lead that team because the ball facilitates through him. So, all of a sudden OKC started covering games in miraculous ways, if you ask me. The last two were miraculous covers. So it isn't like a lopsided series like everybody perceived. This has been a great series, but I don't know if they could stop SGA and that interior offense once they start to drive the ball, and then you could kick it out to Williams and Caruso and guys like that. So it's going to be a difficult out if they're short man for the Pacers. But, you still have the home court, and that's very important. And, like I said, we opened it at 4.5. We're sitting at 6 now, so the initial reaction, tons of OKC money and ticket count. A lot of parlays with OKC on the money line to this extensive baseball card today because you had these rainouts and washouts. So we're being careful, but we got a little buyback. It was up to 6.5, now back to 6 at the Rampart in South Bend.
Yeah, MLB had been using kind of a split getaway day. There are a lot of day games on Wednesday and then a few more on Thursday. And they're kind of taking that Thursday off, but there were none scheduled for yesterday. So you got 9 day games, and then you throw in a couple of rainouts as well, like Wrigley Field. So you've got a busy schedule. Skeens is getting ready to start as well, as he gets to start in Detroit as a day-night doubleheader as well. Kaluch, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Send us any of those big bets that you may get on that College World Series. We'd be interested to get it. Follow Dwayne at on Twitter, X, at NYBookie Dwayne, at NYBookie Dwayne. Don't worry, stay in there. The Dodgers are maybe catch the Cubs. I think y'all can do it. So maybe.
And we didn't touch upon, you guys could breathe easy, too. The fairgrounds is going to run. It's amazing, isn't
That's
it?
right.
All of a sudden.
No
Beautiful
details
thing.
on any concessions, but it looks like
looks good.
that Churchill's going to run this season, and after that, yeah,
We'll
all
see.
bets are off, man. All bets are off. Thank you, Dwayne.
Love you guys. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Love to my family in Baton Rouge.
There you go. Yes, indeed. My man, NY Bookie Dwayne. Follow him on Twitter. He's pretty active on that Twitter. So
Yeah, he is. That Pirates-Tigers game's in a rain delay, the first one. They couldn't have Scooball and Skeens throw the same damn game. Wouldn't that have been fun to watch?
Yes.
They're throwing in opposite games, but the first game's in a rain delay.
Yeah, that would have been better. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows. If your homeowners association requires wood windows, hey man, this is your place, because if you had the regular wood windows like the original construction of my home, they're not going to last in these extreme South Louisiana conditions. I mean, come on, man. Snow, a blizzard, I mean the rain, crazy rain, I mean this heat. I mean, it is brutal. Vinyl windows, storm impact windows, wood windows, but again, the wood windows, and they're just built a little bit different for the ones that we have at Relief Windows. They're made with R-Last wood. They're gelled R-Last wood. It comes with a guarantee, a warranty, and that way you get them. You get the best. They look good. They're functional, and they last. So, man, you're going to make this investment. Don't do it more than once. Call my friends at Relief Windows, 288-8138, or look them up online, reliefwindows.com. They're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At noon here in about 7 minutes, we're going to be going back up to Omaha. Doug Thompson, who was in the booth last night for the network, will be with us at the top of the hour to give us his thoughts on last night's win in the championship series that is coming up. By the way, the championship series will feature LSU as the home team in games 1 and 3. Had some questions about that. The first game, 6 o'clock on Saturday night, is on ESPN. The Sunday game, turnaround 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. That's on ABC. LSU will be the road team for that one. And then game 3, if necessary, is 6:30 on Monday night. And that game is back on ESPN. So I'll give you times, home teams, and a little bit of an update on them. And if you I think the people that are baseball fans that listen to the show, a lot or every day or whatever, they know about Coastal Carolina. Certainly LSU fans remember 2016 when they beat LSU in the Super Regional to get to Omaha, and they beat Arizona, coached by Jay Johnson, in the championship series. This is a program that's made the tournament all but 1 year in the last 15 years. But if you're thinking, if maybe you're a casual baseball fan and you watch just a couple of games a year, if LSU makes it this far, Coastal Carolina is not a plucky underdog. And I'll give you, there's a lot of things I could give you, but I'll just give you this. Their top two pitchers, Morrison and Flukie, one of them 6'6", 210 pounds from New Jersey. The other one's 6'8", 250 pounds from Michigan. I give you those stats because these are not plucky underdogs. These are big-time prospects, and they're not homegrown guys that they just happened to gather 1 year. Like the Stony Brook thing, they just ran into a special group of guys that was there one time. Okay, they're a good program.
No, this is a program.
This is a program
Yeah.
that is recruiting outside of their area big-time prospects. Peterson said it on the thing last night. He goes, they remind him of an Augie Garrido coach team. And I've said that. I believe that. They are a lot like Fullerton.
A little bit. How does it compare a little bit when Tulane kind of had a little upper edge in LSU for a little bit?
Yeah,
because they got the better program right than South Carolina. And it's not just because she's
Absolutely.
here, but they're going every year basically.
Yeah,
14
and now
to 16 trips.
Yes, and now they've done it through a coaching change.
That's as handpicked, or what do you call it, coach in waiting as you can get.
Yes, he was. Hour number 2, Doug Thompson, straight ahead. Walk-ons, 104.5 ESPN. Baton
Live
Rouge.
at lunch. Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The original walk-ons, Burbank at Nicholson, where Jell-O shots will be
$3.
$3 this
Right.
weekend. You get the Baton Rouge discount here, 40% off of
right.
Omaha Jell-O shots. To watch the games again, 6 o'clock on Saturday, 1:30 on Sunday, 6:30 on Monday night, if that game is necessary. Let's go up to Omaha right now and check in with our friend Doug Thompson, who promised me he wouldn't do any Jell-O shots until the interview was over today. So, Doug, we appreciate your temperance here. From your vantage point, man, there's so many things I could pick out with that game last night. But when it got to the ninth, you've been in that situation before where you're trying to put a game away, and, man, it started to come unraveled on Arkansas. Your vantage point on let's start with Aloy's play on the ball in the hole or not in the hole, but to the shortstop that everybody thinks he should have gone with the double play. He went to third base and gave LSU another opportunity.
Well, I don't think that's where you start. I think you start with the Curiel play. I think you talk about, there's two types of players, right? There's players that are going to be more smooth and laid back and understand the timing of every play. And there's players that are going to be way more aggressive, right? And it's not like those players, it's in their DNA. It's just their tendency. So you got to start at the play at first base where Curiel hits a ball in the 4-hole. And in that case, that player, the first baseman in that case, decided to be over-aggressive. If you go back and look at that second baseman was camped. That's a routine ground ball to shallow right field that we've seen a million times where the second baseman flips the feet and turns it to first for one out. Well, in that case, the first baseman went into no man's land and sold out, which, again, you can't really fault him for because it's just a really aggressive play. But usually in your PFPs, Charlie, the one you work on 97% of the time in terms of the pitcher covering first is the routine grounder at first where he's 12 to 15 feet away and the first base or the pitcher's going to sprint to first and, of course, you flip it over, right? That's the one you work on the most. Very rarely do you work on the one that's deep in the hole where the first baseman looks up and he sees a guy barreling down the first baseline, Curiel in this case, who can run, and a pitcher who's sprinting at an awkward angle to first base. So the throw being 30 or 40 feet is what made that play happen. So then your next play, what happened after that? Curiel reaches in, you walk.
Fry walked.
Which is a great at bat, and then you get to the play to Aloy. So there's two types of mistakes, right? My 7-year-old son's team, they were taught this year that the two golden rules of defense in baseball are that, number one, you have to pray to the good Lord that the ball is going to be hit to you. You have to want the ball to be hit to you every single play. And number two, and maybe more importantly than number one, you have to know what you're going to do with the baseball. And the only way to know what you're going to do with the baseball is to know a few things: the score, how many outs there are, and what inning are we in, right? Those are the three main ingredients. Great players are able to take in more variables, and the greatest players are the ones that are able to make that plan before every pitch and consider different speeds of the ball and different directions of the ball. And that discussion that goes so much deeper. But the principles are, I got to know what I'm doing with the ball and know the situation. So either one, he didn't know that there was one out, which I find really, really, really difficult to believe. Or number two, some people call it this mystique of LSU baseball or a lore, and I think there's some of that. I don't think it's what wins LSU games. I think that's part of the thing that's added that adds the pressure a little bit. Or that, right? Either Aloy froze in the moment and made the wrong decision, or two, clearly he didn't think he could turn the double play, which it didn't matter. The play is still to second base all day, twice on Sunday. There's not even a question about it, right? So that's the question. What was Aloy thinking? Was there 0 outs? And I need to get the lead runner, which, of course, would have been the correct play. But if there's 1 out, Charlie, the play all day, you're thinking 2 ball. And I'm going to tell you, I know Milan was getting down the line pretty good, and some people say that he probably would have beat it out. But who cares if he would have beat it out? There's still 2 outs, runners at first and third, and you hold the 2-run lead. So that's a really tough one for Coach Bertman and I were talking earlier, and he went, the shortstop. And I went, Coach, hold on, not the shortstop, the SEC Player of the Year. Like, this is the best player in the conference, a guy with a ton of a guy with a ton of experience, that can play defense, obviously, hit and all the things. Like, this is one of the best players in the country that made a very, very big defensive mistake. And then I'll just finish with the play in left field, because obviously that's what we're going to talk about. I think the question is, and the only person that may know this answer is the left fielder. Did he dive or did he slip? Because if he dove, in my opinion, that's a mental error. That's a mental mistake. If he slipped, I feel awful for the kid. I want to write him an email and tell him to stay tough, and that life is always going to be tough. And this experience, I want to hug him. As a dad, I want to hug him, right? But there's two, like, I'm not sure. I've literally talked to, 8 people this morning, like I'm sure you have. And it's like the grassy knoll. Like, did he slip or did he dive? There's so many different people that have watched it. I've literally watched it twice, and both times last night, and it was fairly chaotic when I watched it. So you probably, Charlie, I was looking forward to this conversation to get your thoughts on the two plays for sure with Aloy and the left fielder, but your thoughts on the play.
Let me interject, Dougie. Good job. But the thing where he told Van Horn said he thought it was hit too slowly to turn too
far to the right.
Okay, well, he never moved to the right.
To the right.
That's what he says.
To the right.
Okay,
Step to the right.
All right, but that's okay in the 6th inning, the 7th inning, or maybe an 8th, because say a wild pitch scores the runner from 3rd with 2 outs, and you get to, okay, you can live with that. The 9th inning gives the guy no. You have to. There's a tie and run. This guy don't mean crap. I'm focused on the tie and run, and to be worried about this, to have the runner on second base pre-pitch, like you talked about, pre-pitch. Come on, stay in the game. You preach to kids. I mean, you are 100% zoned in on the runner at first base, not at all on second, and he can't. There's no way. There's no way. That's why I don't give him a pass, any a pass at all.
And you tell the little ones at 7 years old, I hit it to me, and I got to know where I'm going to go with the ball. That's the golden rules. But then as they grow up, you start explaining the innings, and like you just said so well, Jimmy, in the 6th inning, everything's different. In the 9th inning, all day long, you got to throw that ball to second base to start off that play.
And I do think they would have turned 2, probably 98. I mean, you can never tell somebody's going to throw the ball away. I think they've turned it 98, 99 times out of 100. That's a very good fielding team.
I'll just put it to you, Charlie. You know the view that we have up there.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty good perspective of where the ball is and where the runner is. Like, it's all in our view. And when that ball was hit, my heart kind of dropped. And the first thing I thought was, are we packing up all the stuff tonight or leaving it here in the booth? Like, that was truthfully what was going through my mind. And for the rest of that inning, I was pretty quiet up there, because from that play on, I was truthfully shocked. Like, I truthfully had never seen quite anything. From the Aloy play on, I was kind of at a loss for words.
I watched the replay. I saw you storm out when they won it. You
couldn't believe what I just watched.
That was awesome. No, you got to take that runner at second base.
So,
for
Doug,
sure.
let me ask you, and this is the intangible, and this is no way to prove conversation, but in our trips up there, and we've seen, and this is the fun thing about the college game. See, some people say, man, they're a little flawed. The game is not, it's not at the level, but we're used to watching ML. But that's fun. But this stage, we have seen it raise some guys. And we see this in March Madness, too. It raised the level, and we'd see it. And then we also see the pressure of closing out. And also the pressure of closing out, especially when you're playing in LSU. That's where some of that mystique. I saw John Curtis football. I saw some teams in position to beat them. My dad's teams at Carr. I mean, teams should have beat them, but they just couldn't put them away. We saw some Alabama football games. I mean, didn't LSU should have won a couple more games?
12 and 14 they should have won.
So, but the pressure in everything that you pointed, how much of a factor you think it played?
The LSU factor?
The pressure on the stage, so playing with, a chance to keep that, LSU being a part of the equation, the pressure affecting Arkansas and everything that you talked about in those 3 at-bats.
I'll answer this question and go back to the beginning of the season, like my quiet conversation, because the truth is, in public, we all bit the hook of, wow, we have 10 pitchers that can throw 95 miles an hour or better, right? But the private things I was saying to buddies that have pitched and played is like, but can they they got to figure out if they can breathe first. And I've said this to you guys before, like when one of the reasons, again, is there really a mystique around LSU baseball, or are there some factors that help LSU baseball win? Here would be an example of a factor that helps LSU baseball win. Dealing with this type of pressure all year, just on a little bit smaller stage. There's 12,000 people instead of 25,000 people. The local media is on you every single night, asking you all the questions. You're scrutinized on the radios all day. You're scrutinized on social media all day as if you're a grown professional player, which I guess now in some ways these guys are professional players, but that's neither here nor there. So does that really position LSU players to be ready to handle Omaha more so than a guy from Oregon State or Alabama or Florida who has 936 people coming tonight, and they'll be lucky if the local beat writer shows up to take some quotes after the game? Like, that's part of all this, yes. To answer your question, yes. And a lot of these other schools in Omaha have to see if their kid their real dude can really be that guy in this environment. I'll give you one more example to kind of emphasize what we're saying. Todd Walker and Blair and some others, so blessed to have this network of people to help me develop my kids, personal kids, and the kids I coach, play baseball. And, of course, I know nothing about hitting except for how to give up home runs from the other side. But some of those guys over the years, I've shared videos with my kids, and one of them recently, Todd Walker, said, wow, the big one has gotten a long way. It's not about the cage anymore for him. Like his point was that the fundamentals are pretty good, but he said now it's about three different things. It's about dealing with pressure, it's about dealing with different sizes of crowds, and then it's about dealing with educated pitch selection. Those are the next pieces of hitting, which he said is about 50% of hitting. So, talking about pressure, yes, 100% in that situation. Although Aloy plays at a big program, right? Comes from, he's dealt with a lot of pressure all year. In that case, I would love to dive in and find out. I guess that was what he said, that he didn't think he could turn the double play, but I think that's a moot point whether he could turn the double play or not. But that was a long answer to your question, Jimmy. But it definitely one of the pieces that adds to that pressure here in Omaha is absolutely that LSU brand. And you have to feel like they're a little more comfortable than you in these situations just because they've been there more than you.
And I'll add that, the first game you play that year, you're expected to be at Omaha. And it's not you watch the celebrations in the Super Regional. LSU's not quite as exuberant as everybody else. They're moving on. But I do tell you, I will say this, Dougie. I think this Coastal team, they got they playing just very comfortable, on this stage. I think they haven't been there as much, but I don't know. This team has got my respect too.
They better. Their frontline pitching is as good as it gets. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to have the 5th and 6th year seniors and all the stuff, right? They're going to be as good or better as the Coastal Carolina team that ran through Baton Rouge in 2016. So, one, from a program's perspective, we've got some payback due. Two, what I'm most excited about is I've actually been here 3 times doing this radio thing, and I've never seen an ace pitch yet in the final 3 of a championship series. Lang didn't pitch. And then, of course, Keens didn't pitch last year. So we'll actually get to see the 1 and 2 go, but they'll have their 1 and 2 as well. So for me personally, this feels like the truest, most real best of 3 series that we'll see because neither team had to play that Thursday game, which I think the NCAA should move it back a day and make the final game on Tuesday just so they can get the potential, 1 versus 1 matchups to win it all at the end. And I think it's a travesty that you would play a national championship and the aces for each team might not have anything to do with it. I think that's just crazy to think of. But that's, again, another discussion. But, man, it was as far as I'm concerned, last night was that the greatest LSU game of all time? I said it might have been the most entertaining, but it's really hard to top the Warren Morris game, of course. And then Tommy White's game was an elimination game where if you don't win, you go home. They had a little bit of a cushion. But if you want to talk about one of the most exciting and I've never seen that type of thing before game, that's the one you want to go back and watch.
The pressure barrier you were talking about for Jones, he comes off of the ball gets away and they don't turn the double play, and Arkansas takes the lead. There's nobody on, and there's 2 out, and the guy he's facing has struck him out 4 times in a row. Not only does he hit the home run there, but he comes back and he gets what ends up being the game winner. So talk to me about him, and what did you think of Van Horn's decision to pitch to Jones with first base open, even though he had the righty-righty matchup, which he wouldn't have had if Pearson came up behind him?
Yeah, I think the righty-righty matchup had something to do with it. I was telling folks in the lobby, I love Jared Jones, and I'll talk about his hit and what he did last night, a little bit. But the guy, he's struggling right now, and he's before the game. When they went through their scouting report, there's things that you talk about with each hitter, and one of those things is, this guy's a must curve guy, or this guy's a will chase guy. I'm giving you Skip Bertman language, which means we've got to throw curveballs because he can't hit them. And he will chase if we throw out of the zone when he's behind in the count. And that's probably some of the things right now that's in the scouting report for Jared Jones. So, yes, I think he was pitching to him, but let's talk about that. There's pitching to a guy where you're going to challenge him to hit the ball, and then there's pitching to a guy where you're really not pitching to him. You're kind of throwing 7 strikeout sliders in a row. So let's think about the first pitch. The first pitch of the at-bat was a hard slider that bounced. That indicated to everyone in the ball, at least to me and everybody that pitched there, they're gonna intentionally walk him here. They're gonna try to strike him out by getting him to swing at something that starts on the outside corner and breaks out of the strike zone. Okay, so they're going to be uber aggressive, may throw a wild pitch, but likely Jones. So I think Jones thought to himself, like, I might be able to stay on one of these sliders because it was clear they're not going to throw him a fastball, and I'm going to hit it into right center field. And that's what he was able to do. I mean, so pitching to Jones wasn't crazy there, I didn't think, especially when they kind of showed their hand on the first pitch. Like, okay, they're going to make it really tough on him to put the barrel on it, which was I think the right play. So, and then let's talk about like what he's done, right? Like, again, the scrutiny and the pressure of playing at LSU baseball, and like people really will say you suck on the radio. When you're driving to class, they'll say that you should be taken out of the lineup, even if you're the leading home run hitter among all year players that have ever played at the program for 3 years. They'll actually say things like that, and you got to be able to deal with all those things. But the thing about being a hitter in general, forget all those things, is the success rate is 30%. So you've got to be, I tell my kids this all the time, our hitter, you guys, all these hitters swing 10,000 times a year. Are they really better at making the barrel hit the ball than the other guy that hits 330? Or are they better? The guy that hits 330 is, like Derek Curley, is that guy just so level-headed that he's just better at dealing with the other 7 outs better than the other guys, which makes him better, right? Like, I personally think the 7 outs, which obviously happens more often, the guys that deal with that, I personally think those guys end up being the better and more successful hitters and the ones that you want up in the big moment. Jared Jones proved to the world last night that he's got that ability. He's got that ability to be in a bad funk, as bad as it gets, having to stay late. He's the last guy at practice with Jay hitting sliders off a slider machine. It's really that bad. Like, it's acknowledged, like, oh, wow, we're even going to talk about this and acknowledge that our big guy's struggling. But to stay with him and for that kid to do what he did, first of all, God has a plan. They're a very faithful family, and that's the first thing that Big George said to me last night was, hey, God is good, and God is always has a plan. I said, no, I'm with you there, brother. So, and number 2, that is one tough kid, not only obviously physically, but between the ears, that is one tough kid. Because to deal with all of those exterior things I told you about here now on a national stage, and the hitting thing, like just being a very difficult thing to do, and not only hit the home run to tie it with nobody on and 2 outs, but then to come up in that situation, what was that, the next inning, or was it 2 innings later?
Yeah, no, it was the next inning.
And get the game winner.
Yeah,
it was almost kind of destiny at that point. When Luis came up, the only things I said were two things. I need Luis to find a way to get Jared Jones to bat no matter what here, number 1. And then before Jared Jones hit that ball, I said, I need Luis Hernandez to be on his horse right now because, of course, there's a lot of people out there saying, why didn't they pinch run for Luis Hernandez? But I don't think in a tie ball game, I don't even think that's something you consider because now you're putting a freshman behind the dish on a stage like that, and I don't even think that's something you even remotely consider, in my opinion, right? But I do know there's a lot of people out there I see today on Twitter and stuff questioning why you don't pull Luis.
No, not with 2 hours. You got a few more minutes. We got a few more ads. If you're in a hurry, but you got a few more minutes.
I'm sitting here for 48 hours with nothing to do in Omaha.
Hang with us because I got about 5 more.
All afternoon if you
I got about 5 more. Hang tight with us here.
Uber driver's still taking a bath. Okay, sit tight. Total Maintenance, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC heating company since 1980. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, you name it. And man, I was talking to a guy the other day. He said, "Man, I hadn't had my AC. My AC's been broken for 2.5 days." I'm like, "What are you doing?" Call Total Maintenance 480-1000. Service today, every day means same day service. You'll never sleep hot if you call 480-1000 at Total Maintenance. Call today. Get service today. Been dealing with Lucas Ragusa for a long, long time. And like we said, it's one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Covering both the Metro Baton Rouge area and New Orleans area, but with staffs and offices in both areas devoted to just those markets, not compromising either one of them. Again, that breaks down. Call our friends at Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Return here at the original Walk-Ons. LSU 6-5 win has the Tigers in the College World Series final against Coastal Carolina. Doug Thompson was on the call last night. Doug, let's back up to the beginning of the game now and talk about Zach Cowan. You said on our podcast, the Handycast, you get it on YouTube, that you thought that the layoff hurt Cowan's command in his last outing. Now, with a little bit more time to think about it, he certainly looked sharp last night and looked more like the Cowan we saw for the first 80% of the season than the one we've seen the last few times out. What'd you pick up?
He was dialed in. I mean, he did have the start, so not quite as rusty, but he was dialed in, and he executed the plan, which was, to start with the breaking balls and changeups early, pitch behind, and locate. He had to land one of those off-speed pitches in the first 2 for a strike. 2 out of 3 would have been great, and that's what he did early on. The leadoff home run, you really got to tip your hat and credit Nate Yeske. I talked to him last night, actually after the game. They ambushed, an off-speed pitch, so LSU's dugout responded, and they changed it up a little bit and pitched now what you would say more traditionally, which would be fastballs from that point. And I honestly thought 2 of the biggest outs in the game were the 2 punch-outs Cowan came back with after the home run. I'm telling you, if I'm ever any type of scouting coordinator or recruiting guy and I'm looking at pitchers, I want to see them go through some suffering when I get there. A lot of kids out there listening to the radio that may be being recruited. Look, don't be concerned if you make an error or you strike out a couple times when somebody's there to watch you. Haul butt on and off the field. Make a great play to make up for it. Strike the next 2 out after you give up the home run, because that's the type of kid that I want on my team, right? So those 2 outs after the punch-out kind of, Uncle Mo obviously jumped in Arkansas's dugout after the homer, but the 2 punch-outs, he kind of went back to the top step and started looking back over on the LSU side, right? That's what kind of happens when you immediately take control. If you walk that next guy, it starts to unravel, right? So I thought that was a huge moment for Zach Cowan. And unfortunately, I told this to Coach Burtman this morning, unfortunately, 20 years from now, when we're talking about this game and how Jared Jones, tied it up with a homer and he walked it off later in the game to advance, we'll forget about the Zach Cowan performance, because he has been solid all year. And just 4 out of the last 5 outings, he wasn't very good. It just so happened that the one outing he was good, a couple weeks back against Arkansas, he was able to do the same thing against the Hogs again on, perhaps the biggest game of the year.
You remember who started the Warren Morris game, don't you?
Of course.
He got lost, but it was Kevin Shipp, right?
Of course. It was Kevin Shipp, of course, all day.
We remember the Morris homer, but Shipp, pitched pretty well at the beginning of that game against a potent Miami offense.
Not only did he pitch pretty well, but Kevin Shipp made a game. Coach Burtman, you remember, Charlie, always used to cut up games of the past and whatnot to show us different scenarios. And one was a PFP, a pitcher's fielding practice, a video that he would show pitchers on how to field the position. And after that year, he put in the insert of Kevin Shipp fielding a ground ball that he actually spun to get the lead runner at third base. And he explained to us how that inning ended up unfolding if Shipp doesn't make that play, like the Warren Morris homer only ties it and doesn't win it. Like, they don't win the game necessarily. So anyway, Kevin Shipp not only pitched very well in that game, but he made some great plays defensively in that game to keep it close. I mean, just to talk about that game for 2 seconds, that game was bigger, a bigger game than last night's game because it was, of course, for all the marbles. But if you want to talk about the excitement and entertainment of the game, if that game was as back and forth as any other of the championship games I can ever remember, too. The '96 game. If you want some retro. Something to look back on YouTube in the next 2 days. I wasn't even on that team, but go back and check out that game from the first pitch until Warren Morris's home run. It was a great one. Charlie can tell you. 6
lead changes in the Miami LSU game in '96, 5 last night, but you had 4 in the 8th inning or later. And that's what it was all at the end.
That's a good stat.
And here's one in college baseball this year, teams down to their final out were 1-369 this year.
When they were behind,
down to their last out.
Down to their last out. Okay, wow. Jeez.
I've got the full chills when you said that. I don't know why.
You know the other one was Nebraska, Michigan State in the same park, Big Ten tournament.
The guy dropped the ball.
This was not as challenging of a catch. And, I mean, the right fielder just kind of comes over and it kind of hits the heel of his glove a little bit and just falls out. That extended the game, and then Nebraska won it in extra innings. So, in Nebraska, that's how they'd have been out. They wouldn't advance out of pool play.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that was single elimination. It was the same format. So, Nebraska's first game.
It would have been 0-370. It would have been 0-370.
Yes.
Holy smokes,
but
dude.
in all of Charlie, I got him to laugh earlier, Dougie, but I said, there's so many memories, and we're going to try and stack this historically. During the pandemic, we had a 40x40, all LSU sports, or just South Louisiana sports, the biggest memories that we have. And no matter what, certainly this is a memorable one, but ain't many would say, yep, difference in the game was LSU was much stronger in the field.
Well,
LSU, with the glove, they were better.
I was with some of the staff guys, and they were excited. And somebody at one point said, "Dougie, you're one of the better people to ask. It's got to be the best in the history of the program." I was like, "Well, look, Warren Morris's was to win the national championship, and is largely considered as the greatest college baseball game of all time. And Tommy White walked it off in an elimination game. Like, you guys weren't faced with elimination, which puts this one." At least in recent memory, and there's a lot of regular season games that end with great plays and whatnot. But when you're talking about championship play, I think personally this one's got to be right up there, number 3 or definitely in the top 5. How about that?
Well, and this is fair or unfair, but we do this a lot. If it leads to a national championship, it carries more weight.
It's just
part of it.
If it leads to a national championship, it will definitely be in the top 3 to 5. LSU baseball performances games of all time, for sure.
Let me ask you about 2 more guys, and then we'll let you get to your Jello shots. Jaden Newton, Chase Shores, you've been on this all year, Doug, on the podcast, that they just needed innings. These are 2 premium arms that are 2 years off of Tommy John surgery. And you come back the first year and you can throw, but you're not yourself. And you said 50 innings is what these guys need to establish their command. And here is Chase Shores at 61 innings, and Newt not quite to that number yet, but at 32 2/3 innings. And you're really seeing these guys emerge later in the season as weapons for LSU out of the bullpen. When you look at them pitch now as opposed to, say, in February and March, what do you see?
They've got more comfortable, and they've gotten more confident from coming back from their injuries. And Chase Shores is actually now past 100 innings, in his college career. So, it's really kind of all of those things that at the beginning I was saying, look, they have major league stuff. I definitely was always very cautious because I didn't want anybody out there to think I was saying they couldn't pitch or they can't contribute. But the truth is, ask anybody that's ever had a scar on their elbow. They'll tell you, man, there's a psychological, I know the doctors are saying I'm ready and everybody's saying, and it doesn't hurt, but, can I really let it go, right? There's a process to get through that. So Chase Shores was going through that, and I was like, man, when he was the Sunday starter, I was thinking, man, that's a lot. That's going to be a lot on him. But he is 6'8" and throws 100 miles an hour, so maybe if there's anybody, he can handle it. And then, last night he missed a spot or two. I've also read people why is he throwing sliders, et cetera. Look, the double that was the hardest hit ball that he allowed was a fastball away, and he left it over the middle. You know how many times I did that at LSU? A lot, right? So sometimes they're just going to hit you, but he came in, the moment he came in and did what he did was huge in the game as well, right? He had some big strikeouts. I believe 2 strikeouts to end the, the seventh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in a very quiet, quick 7th inning, which in a 1-0 game where your team just scored 2 in the 6th, how many times have you heard shutdown points? We started hearing that 30 years ago when Skip Bertman, educated us all on what a shutdown inning meant. It means when your team scores, it's most important in that next inning to not let them score. So Chase Shores, that 7th inning, might be the biggest inning of the game defensively because we had just scored and taken the lead, and it was a quick one. It was a ground ball to short, and then boom, boom on the strikeouts.
Doug, we appreciate your time so much, man. Enjoy Omaha. Have a great call this weekend and a safe trip back. Bring home number 8 if you will.
Go ahead, Dougie.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Doug Thompson be on the call for the LSU Sports Network.
Yeah, man. And it's a time, that some of the guys Mitch and Paulie yesterday are like, man, what about these people that bring up the gator and the grilling gator and the crawfish boil at Barrett's and things like that? It was like they couldn't get over that. I said, well, you got to get your supreme rice, okay? You go they call it a cauldron. The cast iron pots.
A cauldron.
They call it cauldrons.
Double
I got these
toilet
cauldrons that they build, that they're cooking in. And love, man, you got to do it with Supreme Rice. I love the parboiled rice from Supreme Rice. Forever, I just couldn't understand how I could not get my rice like the quality of a restaurant. I was like, how are they doing? Well, of course, Buddy told me. He's like, man, all the restaurants are using that parboiled rice. That's what they do. It is. It's tough to mess up. I mean, it is kind of amateur cook proof. I mean, it's just, you boil it, man, you rinse it. It doesn't have as much residue. It is long grain. It's firm. It tastes good. It is beautiful, beautiful stuff. Not real gummy like some of the rice and stuff like that. Got to try it out. And it's got all of the nutrients and enrichments that you do in your brown grain rice as well. So you got the best of both worlds. High quality, good for you. Check it out, Supreme Rice, wherever you find your Supreme Rice in all the area grocery stores.
Climate Smart program means you do methane emission reductions and water conservation for future generations. Look for that Climate Smart label on all Supreme Rice packaging. Live at lunch from Walk-Ons, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Walk-Ons Live at Lunch. We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. You're getting the yard in shape right now. You're doing some summertime repairs on your property. Thibodeau Store, place to go, man. Power tools, hand tools, paint. They do match, any of your matching paint. Lumber delivered for you out of the Pierre Part store location, 900 St. Patrick Highway. And the website is thethibodeaustore.com. We got it to where you can't hardly misspell it. Thethibodeaustore.com. A lot of these items are available for delivery. Of course, you're doing some outdoor cooking, grills, griddles, and the Big Green Egg cookers are all there, along with all of your cooking accessories at the Thibodeau store. Propane is available there, all of your tools. Just so many different things that you can get at the Thibodeau store, plus that down-home touch. If you're working on projects at your home, you're not sure exactly what to buy or how to proceed, they will help you out at the Thibodeau store.
Hold on. You just go over that outdoor cooking. You don't cook, okay?
Not
all right?
well.
For us that really enjoy outdoor cooking, you just go, oh, yeah, they got the griddles. Look, man, they got everything and then things you can't imagine that they have as far as the outdoor cooks. So, I mean, it is – my heart rate starts speeding up. You think you get excited? I think Charlie was excited watching he couldn't go to sleep last night. Man, it took me 2 days to get my sleep right when I went to visit the Thibodeau store. It gets me going, baby. It has got everything and then some. Your pots, your burners, your gadgets, you name it, man. It's awesome. It's awesome for outdoor cooking.
Up in Omaha, thank you. Up in Omaha right now, we've been there for this stage before, Jimmy, when LSU clinches a spot in the finals, and there's a day, 2 days worth of what you call lag time, and the second wave comes up. We got a lot of experience with this. The second wave, if you thought that LSU was well represented before, well, just wait. Because when the second wave shows up, there's a lot of the guys up there, and Hunt's one of them, that has been there since before the series started. You're into your second week. You're starting to, you're grinding a little bit. You just want to get to the finals. And here comes the second wave.
No, it's actually a third wave, okay, because when the first two games, I don't know, 1,500, let's just say. 1,500.
LSU fans?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they did better than that, but okay.
Okay. You want to say 2,000?
I thought it was a pretty good number, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, and even if you want to go 2,500. Then once they win their first two games and they clinch their playing at least till Thursday,
yeah,
then you got your second wave, okay? And say an extra 50%?
Double it, yeah.
Or double?
That's double.
Okay, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the final wave – for when they clinch the championship series and you've got a day or two to arrange your travel, everything from the Greyhound to your private jet and everything in between.
Put some gas in the truck and let's go.
Okay, and
we'll drive it.
You get flights. I mean,
some people get flights, but there's enough time to drive it,
some
too.
Some people get their own planes. Some people call the cats on the bus. You know what I mean? So you go, that's triple.
Yeah.
Triple 4 to 5 times what you had on the original opening weekend. So if you had 2,000, 2,500, you're looking at 10 to 12,000 for the championship game, especially when you don't have an Arkansas to compete with tickets for a team that's only 6 hours away. That's just let's put some gas in the car. That's really easy. And Ole Miss was good. They packed it up when they made it to the finals. Mississippi State packed it. Arkansas did as well, and LSU, and they're coming. So that's why I'll go Friday to Friday. And if they 2 out, I'm leaving on Friday. If they go to the championship series, I'm leaving on Friday. So we're sitting in a sports bar. We just got done with our show. And one of those new waivers come in, and there's nothing worse. Because, look, it's a drunk fest, okay? All right? So you're sitting there, and you're grinding out this adult spring break for a week. And then they come in, and some people are sitting at the bar, and they come in, and they're fresh there. I'm like, get me the hell away from. Now, one of your friends is kind of a little extra annoying to begin with. So, but anyway, he was on a full tank, and I'm like, I am glad my flight is out today. And you had to sit there for another few days.
I've been there for
it's fun and stuff,
2 weeks, multiple 5 or 6 times.
There's nothing like the new wave coming in on a fresh tank of gas.
Yes, they're going to be.
I'm too old for this now.
They're going to be strong. I always tell people that say, if you're going to the series and you can't go for the entire time, and most people can't. Would you go for the first weekend, or would you wait for the championship game? And I always tell people the same thing. If you've never been before, go for the first weekend.
I think
there's
the
all
first
8
2 games,
there.
you're scheduled. You know when they are. Everybody's there. Baseball Village. There's over 100,000 that will go in through that place on Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
The first 2 days.
Go to see the opening ceremonies, all of the colors and everything.
No. I think.
But if you've been before, maybe the second time you wait for the championship series. If you got one of the two.
That's my son with the bandwagon who's running around with his bandwagon Honey Badger jersey on right now.
Well,
flipping loyalty.
Tell Alabama boy to check
like
where
Rohan told him.
Yeah.
Hey boy, you just gonna spend 4 years over there, don't you? This is in your blood.
Got to be back here.
Get yourself together, boy.
We are at the original walk-ons here, Burbank at Nicholson. Jell-O shots are 40% off Omaha prices here at walk-ons for the championship series on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Live at lunch from walk-ons 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Ton of afternoon baseball. If you're having a little withdrawals, no CWS action today or tomorrow. By the way, they, I've heard a lot of questions about the schedule. They used to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the championship series, but just to set up the pitching a little bit better, what that meant was, though, that there was no baseball on the weekend. TV didn't like that very much, and the CWS wanted games back on the weekend, so they moved it back to a Saturday start. I'm glad everybody's on a full rest.
What
championship series for a few years was
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
It was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for a while, yeah.
LSU, Florida was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It was, yeah.
But no, the one they lost.
The one they lost, yeah, in 17.
The other one was Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. So that's why they've changed it back. And listen,
why?
Because they didn't like the idea of having a completely dark weekend with no baseball on Saturday or Sunday at the World Series. Networks didn't like that, and the CWS didn't like that. Because if it fell a certain way, there were no games on Saturday or Sunday, and they didn't like that. They wanted the games on the weekend. So there's only so many different ways you can do it. 6
o'clock starts for every game, though, right?
No, 1:30 on Sunday.
Oh,
1:30 on
okay.
Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah. Who you like tonight? Game 6, Thunder Pacers trying to.
I'm on the Zigzag. The Zigzag is 4-1 in the finals. It's been highly profitable. It did not hit the last game. I mean, if they don't turn it over, they could have covered. I mean, it's on 2.
Yeah.
Indiana could have covered, but I'm on the Pacers plus the public. The Thunder have covered 2 in a row. I know that's even been more action. Since, with the uncertainty of Halliburton, I've seen enough that I think that's a lot of points at home. And the last time they were catching this many points at home, one of the worst beats in an NBA playoff game or playoff game period. So I'm on the Pacers plus the points tonight.
If the Pacers win, it will set up Game 7, which is Sunday against the Thunder. Will be
Sunday evening, huh? So that the College World Series will be Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, 7 o'clock Sunday night. So the game will be over.
Let's get a Game 7.
I'm all for it. More sports is what we want. Tomorrow we are at Rufino's, our Friday home.
Jell-O shots here at Walk-Ons.
Yep, get the Jell-O shot. Kyle Peterson from ESPN will be with us tomorrow.
Charlie's hitting it right now.
Show. For Jimmy Ott, for Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Henniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for a jubilant Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.